on it before. What's their reaction going to be?
So
because they were in the finals last year, but but the season leading into it, they didn't. They had a lot of break.
Yeah,
if you know what I'm saying.
But the Cavs, I feel like the Cavs in general this year, which threw up a lot of media attention, they took a lot of breaks. Like almost
they rest
to a
their
fault.
players.
They rest their players a lot. I think basically for this part of the season. Not even necessarily this part of the season because they're going to win the Eastern Conference Finals, but for the next round, I should say. The Cavs, I don't know if I agree because I feel like, yes, your body is going to get tired, but there's nothing that one player, maybe an older player, but there's nothing that one player on that team is not what everybody else is feeling. If you go through a season, you're naturally going to feel a certain type of pain or something like that, but at this type, like it's like playing in the Super Bowl. Everybody has injuries, everybody has bumps and bruises. You got to just play through it. You're playing for a championship at that time.
Yeah. What's your take on this, KJ?
Ditto.
But my thing is I'm really for like 49-51 right now, and I would have to say 51 Warriors. I just feel like it's easier. It's easier when you lose a championship to come back and get ready for it, to get ready for the next one, than to come and defend. It's hard to repeat. It's very hard to repeat.
Now, if I can talk basketball, but changing kind of basketball topics, I don't know if you guys have heard what's in the news lately with Jeremy Lin.
No, I haven't.
Apparently, Jeremy Lin, went on record and stated how his time in college basketball at the Ivy League school of Harvard was a lot worse than in the NBA, that the people in the Ivy League conference were more racist to him than in the NBA.
Wow.
So it just shows you how instrumental the NBA has been doing on race issues.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, not great as in his past, but NBA wise, that's really good.
And I wonder where this is going from the future. Is it just the sports there, or is it just everything else?
Well, in general, in professional sports, there's normally a level of respectability against each other.
Right.
So.
But to make somebody feel that way, and, if you're a victim of that, you're not going to want to say it right away when you're at the place. It makes you feel weird. He came out years later and is now saying this. I can't blame him for doing that, because when you're a victim of that, it's, We do have a special guest. Well, not a special guest. Who's just entered the building. Somebody's just entered the building. And I don't know where he is. And, no. The door's closed. Door was opening. It's closed. But, for Jeremy, this is an upsetting situation to happen. We should never be seeing this in sports. I know in Europe it's a big problem with racism in soccer.
Yeah.
So we must end racism in sports. So hopefully we don't hear because what happens now is you hear one story like this, right? And then I wouldn't call him a copycat, but then other guys are not as afraid to come out and say, I was a victim of this subject too.
Look who it is.
And here.
Why? How much we've missed the main man, Chris. Everybody, Chris has just stepped into the building.
Here. I didn't know I had to go so formal because Talkie is like wearing a tuxedo kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
and I'm making up. He really is wearing a tuxedo.
I wanted to go Cumberbund instead.
Your waiter will be here shortly. Are you Ian Cumberbund?
No, I just got a job at Hofstra.
Chuck Daly, former coach of the Dream Team, coach of the New Jersey Nets, coach of the Detroit Pistons, Bad Boys, always said it's impossible for any man to look bad in a tuxedo. And it's true. Have you ever seen anyone look bad in a tuxedo? No. It's impossible. You can put the ugliest guy. You put Danny DeVito in a tuxedo.
He was in a lot of tuxedos.
Yeah,
just look at Matilda.
And he's got crazy money, Mr. DeVito, because he's produced like everything. Jersey Films is a big production company that he owns, and I'm unbelievable. So, I'm going through some things in life which hopefully you guys have many years to deal with. But my mom's in the hospital, and things have. It's like touch and go kind of stuff. Like last week, out of the blue. So my wedding anniversary was Tuesday. On Wednesday morning, out of the blue, she went into cardiac arrest, which is not a heart attack. It's cardiac. The heart just stops. And she actually coded. She died for 10 minutes. And they brought her back, and she came back on her own, but no brain problems, no heart problems, but there's blood in her lungs, and they're trying to figure out what it is. So she had a bronchoscopy today, and it's...
I hope she gets well soon.
Yeah, so do I. Thanks. So it's just been a weird thing, because then there's legal issues and there's bill issues and so it's stuff I've always heard about, like grown-ups have to deal with their adult children, and that's why you always say to your parents, look, be nice to me now because I take care of you when you're older. It's that kind of stuff. So it's something, and I know it's something that resonates with our listeners out there, because I'm sure everybody of a certain age has been through this. So like now it's my turn, and I went to a communion party over the weekend. I saw my wife's cousins, and the husband was saying that his parents were sick. He went through this, but his wife's parents, who are my wife's aunt and uncle, are in great shape, and they obsess when they get a hangnail. Oh my God! Meanwhile, they're in the father's like 76, 77, and he's retired, but he still has a house painting business and everything. So it's like, you know what? When you got your health and you have to worry about these little things that pop up, it's like you just.
There's people becoming president at 70.
Yeah, there might be people running for president like 74 and 78 in a few years as well. Yeah, so yeah, it's been a very interesting thing, and there were so many things. This was, our fearless leader Sean, who runs the station. Last week, I told him, I said, I really want to. I need this an outlet, because Wednesday was a horrible day. Wednesday, Thursday, just a horrible day, and I need this outlet. But I can't leave the hospital, so I said, I can't. But I really need to do the show. I need to, and I was live for Piano Man on Saturday morning because I just needed an outlet just to get out there, and so that's what this is. So Sports Talk 516-572-7440, 516-572-7440. And I always miss. I love before the Kentucky Derby. Dave always gives his picks, so I missed last week with Dave giving the picks.
You know something? I'm more comfortable speaking here and letting my voice out, and then going to a town board meeting and trying to.
Yeah, you need to. What was your when you went to the town board meeting? What did he bring up? What do you think? Congratulate them on.
He's having his own civil rights movement going on.
Tuxedo lives matter.
I actually got the old school tuxedo, the old school one.
Black and white.
Doesn't have the back. The new vest have the back.
That's right. Oh, look at you. So
yeah.
So yes, well, I'm glad that you're working closer to home,
Hofstra,
and not going to New Jersey.
You know what? I'm still going there tomorrow.
Oh, so I'm in. I went to.
You don't even know a position.
Yeah, what are you doing there?
You don't know? I'm a professor.
Are you, Professor Wood?
No.
Well, you speak American Sign Language, right?
Yeah.
Do you also speak Hebrew Sign Language?
I don't know of any Hebrew Sign Language.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No.
Because speaking of which, so I was at the hospital 3 times today. I went this morning before work, then I went to work, then I went after work, and then I just came from there. 8 something this morning. I'm waiting for an elevator. Who is there? Rabbi Pearl. Rabbi Ansel Pearl, who hosts Jewish Talk on Sunday mornings, right?
8:30 now.
8:30 Sunday mornings, right here. WHPC 90.3.
His last show, he had a show dedicated to fidget spinners.
Really?
Yeah.
Which were invented in Israel. It was the Jewish, the soldiers, because to get Palestinian kids from stopping throwing rocks. I don't know if that, I didn't listen to his show, but I know that's how fidget spinners were invented, because my son has those fidget spinners, which is one of those things where you say, I wish I invented this. Because it's one of those things where you say, this is such a thing that would have been a great moneymaker, and and hey, at least the kids aren't on video games and computers, and so at least they're using their fingers, I guess. So, is John Wall really 5'9"? Is he really that small?
No. I think he's like 6'2".
Oh no,
yeah, he's
definitely 6'2".
Oh, Isaiah Thomas is 5'9".
I don't even believe that.
And
maybe with Tim's on.
Yeah, maybe because people are trying to make, they're talking about, that Isaiah Thomas of the Celtics was the NBA equivalent of Mr. Irrelevant. You know what Mr. Irrelevant is?
Yeah, the last draft pick.
Last guy.
That old guy
draft,
goes on every year.
Who this year's Mr. Irrelevant was the most famous, because it was Jim Kelly's nephew, who was the quarterback who went to some really good schools, got kicked out of very good schools. So he has a pedigree, and he was good. He just is a nutcase. In fact, Elway supposedly called Jim Kelly to say, "Tell me about your nephew. Is he messed up and things like that?"
This could be like a Mike Piazza, Tommy Lasorda thing,
right? Well, that's what I was thinking of. That could really be. There were a couple of picks that could be like Mike Piazza. There's another pick in the draft I'm trying to think of that was totally like a Piazza, like a favor. To kind of thing, but I was thinking. So they were saying that Isaiah Thomas is the NBA equivalent, but he wasn't picked by the Celtics. There, what was it? Sacramento? Who was he drafting? He was picked by Sacramento. How did he wind his way to the Celtics?
He was in Phoenix before.
He was a restricted free agent.
Okay, so at least he had a career. He wasn't like released and they picked him up off the heap and everything. So
because they promised him. He went to Phoenix because Sacramento wouldn't start him. And Phoenix promised to start him. But then as soon as they acquired him, they traded for another point guard.
That was Bledsoe, right?
Yeah, for Bledsoe.
Wow.
Yeah. And they started Bledsoe and Brandon Knight at the same time. And then he was like really?
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
Before that, Dragic was there too, right?
But he went to Miami after.
Yeah, so it was all four of them at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Just a quick point. Do you know how they can make Mr. Irrelevant more people watching in?
More relevant?
Yeah. You know how?
What's that word you're looking for?
Yeah. You know how they can make it more relevant, Mr. Irrelevant? By drafting a woman as a kicker.
Yeah,
you've been saying that a lot.
More people would tune in.
The thing is, are you back on your women's soccer? The thing about that though is that draft picks are like gold to these teams. Like they don't waste these picks. These are like gold to them.
Remember in the 80s, the Jets played the Dolphins.
Oh,
and the woman was
Gail
the announcer.
Gardner.
Yeah,
Gail Gardner. You put a woman with red hair and freckles, and I'm done. That's my kryptonite. So hold on. Speaking of kryptonite, caller in Sports Talk.
How you doing, Richie from
Hey,
Shirley?
Richie from Shirley. How you doing?
I hope your mom gets better.
Thanks. Me too. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm glad to be
strong,
here.
Hanging there and,
I thank the guys for holding down the fort. I think Kim out there. I think our fearless leader Sean for putting up. So good. Thank you, Rich.
Anyway, let's talk about Mr. Harvey.
Yes.
Okay.
My friend Harvey.
He didn't have a migraine. He just needed some Lima time.
I think Collins, the manager of the Mets, did the right decision by suspending him for 3 games, or he should have gave him more.
Well, if he gave him 4, that meant he could have watched the Rangers playoff game, because that's what happened. He went out. He went out Friday night. Now he didn't really break curfew. When you're a major league player and you have a night game, you're not getting home until 2 a.m. anyway.
Right.
So he's getting home at 2 a.m. He was at the bar till 4 o'clock. Yeah. Okay, fine. That's whatever. He lives in Manhattan. And then he played golf the next day. Well, he was drinking while he was playing golf, and his buddies were like, dude, stay home. Watch the Rangers game. And he's a huge Rangers fan. And that's what he did. He's like, that's what he did. And he made a point when he gave his big apology of saying, yeah, I didn't show up for, what I was supposed to show up for. When you have a road game, a lot of times the pitcher who is starting the next day, they tell him to stay at the hotel. Well, they send him home like after the 3rd inning to go and rest up for the next day. Yeah. So he was not pitching the next day. If it was somebody else, they would have let it slide. But they've just gone down the road too much with him.
They said that place, he hangs out in a place that's called the One Oak Inn or something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's the it's in the
Francesa's show. They had
meatpacking district.
Yeah, they had a cop call man and says that place is bad news. That place there.
Well, whenever you hear the it's dog whistle. It's code language. When you hear models and when you hear meatpacking district, you're supposed to think cocaine. That's what people are doing. Now, hold on one second, because we're going to go with our official on-air ID, because we're now at 10 o'clock. So here you go.
The Yankees win 27 world titles.
Johan Santana throws the first Mets no-hitter.
David Tyree makes a catch for the ages.
Willis Reed walks out onto the garden floor.
For more great sports moments like these, be sure to tune in to all of our fantastic sports shows.
From the Press Box with Rob and Tim Leonard, Monday mornings at 10.
The Home Stretch with Anthony Tardamella and the WHPC sports staff, Tuesday evenings at 9.
Sports Talk with Chris Muldoon and the WHPC sports staff, Thursday evenings at 9.
And Beyond the Game with Jacob Valk, Brandon Johnson, and the WHPC sports staff, Friday afternoons at 3.
All of these excellent shows and more are on the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
WHPC HD.
Garden City.
You're tuned into Long Island's only FM sports voice. This is Sports Talk on 90.3 WHBC.
Yeah, that's right. This is Sports Talk, and we come at you 100% commercial-free every Thursday evening from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock right here on 90.3 WHBC, Garden City, New York. We've got Mark Talkie-Tchaikovsky, we got KJ Brooks, we got Tristan Hamilton, I'm Chris Muldoon, and we've got Richie from Shirley, who's kind of